Okay, I've had a few people ask how to make up your own ribbon bar, so I'm going to demonstrate quickly. What we have in front of us here is what you'll get in a standard ribbon bar set here in Australia. That's for a 2. That would be called a number 2 ribbon bar set. So you get those 2 and you get that. They come in 1, 2, 3 and 4. Once you go above that, you need to start joining. RAN, Royal Australian Navy, they will tend to do 3 and then they will do 1 on top. Australian Army generally will do 4 and then we'll add additional ones. Okay, so basically the most important thing you will need, other than a couple of pieces of ribbon, is you will need some double-sided tape. This is my favourite, this brand. Now you can get away with just using this tape to secure your ribbons, and that will keep them in the right place. For additional finish, you can use some just standard tape, backing tape that comes on parcels, and that will stop the appearance of the holes that are here from coming through the front of the ribbon. Not absolutely 100% necessary, but if you want something that's going to last longer, then you are better off having the packing tape, and I'm going to show you how to do that. If you just wanted to do without, you don't want to do that, you would simply just mount this tape, which I'll show you now. So obviously you're going to need a pair of scissors. I usually just cut it a bit longer. Stick it on there. I'm going to get my scissors. I'm going to trim it off. Get rid of that. Okay, so we could peel that back now, and we could actually start putting our ribbon on. And once the ribbon's on, it curls around. These go on top. What we'll do is we'll make it a nice one, and we're actually going to attach the bit of packing. Take that off, get a little bit of packing here. This also helps, this packing helps if you've got a wider than standard ribbon, such as NATO ribbons or UN ribbons, which are wider. So what you can do, because the standard Australian ones don't go any wider than this, what you can do is you can offset your bit of packing, as so, as such, and then you can put a wider ribbon. You can actually put a wider ribbon on and it won't look terrible. Okay, so the wider ribbon will just go on, and from the front it will look fine. We're not doing that today, we're just putting standard pair of Australian ribbons on, a DLSM ribbon and an ADM for this example. Okay, so I've got that nice and square. I don't really want any overhang because these ribbons are exactly the right length for this bar. So I'm going to trim this little piece off here. There we go, now we've got our piece. So as I said earlier, the reason for this is to stop the holes becoming outlined on the ribbon over time. Okay, so we're stuck there. We use the thin sellotape. Now we'll get a thicker piece. Just makes it easier. You could just get away probably with the thicker one that I'm using now, rather than buying 2 rolls of tape. It is fairly expensive stuff, but you can get shorter rolls as well, not massive rolls like I've got here. Again, generally you're better off just cutting a little bit larger than you need and trimming down. So I'll pop that there so it's very centered. Oh, look at that. Not very good, but it's okay. It's easy to pick off and reposition, which is why it's great stuff to work with. It's very thin. You won't get away using normal thick double-sided or mirror tape. That would just be a disaster. Although there is a case for using thick mirror mounting tape, which I'll show you later on, for a different application, but also for ribbon bars. I'm not having much joy here, but we will get there. We want it nice and lined up. There we go. Okay, so we're covered on the front. Obviously we've got to trim this little bit off here. And if it looks a bit awkward, it's probably because I'm a left-hander and you're a right-hander. Okay, so we've got our double-sided tape there. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can see I haven't got it perfectly lined up. All right, we've got that pressed on there. Now we just curl it over using our fingernails, if you've got fingernails, just to get it to go in there nicely. Okay, so that's that. Now, a little note about ribbon and how to use it. Okay, each piece of ribbon has a non-overlocked edge, which is that edge, and an overlocked edge. It's how ribbon is made. This overlocked edge we don't want on the edges. This is where your ribbon bars will start to fray very quickly if you put this on the edge. So wherever possible, and usually you'll see, I don't know if you can see there's more white there, but it's not always the case, but it also slightly thicker on the overlocked edge. So we're going to want the overlocked edge on the inside of the bar and the non-overlocked edge on the outside of the bar. This will prevent fraying of the ribbon. Both ribbons have the same. You see the ribbon starting to fray already. It always does. It's just something you have to work with. Once it's all held down, it's usually fine. You can get fray stopper if you really want to. It's really going to bother you. But once the ribbon bar is all constructed, you shouldn't have any issues with it. Okay, so again, there's our non-overlocked edge, and there's our overlocked edge. So that is the way we will have them on the ribbon bar. So now we can just peel off our backing. It's a little bit sticky, but not too bad. And now we're going to attach our ribbon. So again, we want our non-overlocked edge on the outside. And this double-sided tape is very forgiving, so you can adjust and readjust. It's easier to do your final adjustments this way around, and you can see I haven't quite got him lined up, so I can just pull him down, and we're going to use the straight lines of the weave of the ribbon to line us up. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now we'll turn him over, we'll have a look there, and we'll just push him on, and we'll just check that he looks visually correct from here. We don't want any wobbles. Wobbles look terrible. And the more you mess with it, the worse it gets usually. But even up into here, we can ease this ribbon back. We can actually take it off, but it's already starting to bond. It's not a very super permanent bond. You can always remove it, but that's pretty good. That's about as good as it gets. Okay, now we do our next one. Oh, I've neglected to say that the amount of ribbon you'll need is around about 3 mil. Generally, if possible, get a little bit more to start with, so you can trim down just prior to your job, so that you don't have massive fraying. You don't want really badly frayed ribbon here. It's terrible to work with. Often it's a good idea, if you're getting metals mounted, ask the metal mounter for any of the scraps from your originals, and you can always keep a few of those, and you can do yourself up a ribbon bar very easily and very quickly. So this one again, we're going to roughly center it there. You see we're slightly over there. We can see a little bit of that bar there. So that's probably a little bit of the plastic. There are a couple of little tricks we can do. If it's just that plastic, we can just come along with our scissors and we can just trim that back a little bit more. If for some reason you've got a very thin bit of ribbon as well, it's not very wide, a good pair of scissors will actually chop through this brass, believe it or not. You can even trim the brass. Just try that again. See how he sits. We don't want a gap in the middle there. Not going too well here. And that's fine. A good opportunity to show that if the ribbon bar is a little bit wide, or the ribbon is slightly too wide, that's a tiny little brass I've just chopped off there. Right. Never underestimate what you can do with a pair of scissors. And I'll just angle those cuts just in a little bit. There's no sharp edges there. See, we've got a little bit of fray happening here. We'll just trim that off as well, just so it's not bothering us while we're working on it. Tiny bit of brass we'll get rid of. Okay, should be pretty good now. I'd like to say it's unusual to have to trim the bars, but it's probably more common than you would think. Okay, now we can see we're nicely flush. There's nothing sharp there. Be careful how we trimmed it. Okay, that's the hardest part done. Our lines are all correct. Now it's a matter of just putting our little clips on, our butterfly clips. Take a butterfly. I have recycled this. Generally speaking, it's better not to try and recycle them. Better off trying to use brand new. But you'll see he just goes in there and he holds him, and he takes care of any frays as well. Okay, you can use a lot of things. A lot of people use pliers and all sorts of little prod tools. I actually just use a good pair of scissors. I sit him down there and I'll bend him in. It's your choice whether you bend in or bend out. If you bend out this way, you will see a little bit of the edge of the brass keeper that folds down. You will see that on the very edge there. So I like to fold them in. Okay, we've got one set. Stick that on there so we don't spike ourselves. Second one. I'm just pressing there, making sure that all the loose stuff is here. Okay. And you can use your scissors or whatever tool you're using to just press down. Push him in. You see he sort of sits up there a bit, but he does get a good contact and holds the ribbon down quite nicely. Okay, so that's that one done. And there we have it, our finished ribbon bar. Pretty easy, and if you've got ribbon scraps left over, an easy job you can do yourself. Thanks for watching, and check us out on eBay, Oz Coins and Medals. Alright, thank you very much. Bye.